Namaste, welcome everyone to my channel. My name is Angeline, and today we're doing a yin yoga session for the hips. This practice is going to be really good to help move our femurs through the hip sockets, through the 6 degrees of freedom. It's internal, external rotation, flexion, extension, abduction, and I think that's 6. We basically, for props, only need our blanket to sit on if you have tight hips and you need that to help with your pelvic tilt, and possibly blocks. We have one asana where we go into a low lunge and you may need it for your arms. All right, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with our practice today. We're going to start in our meditation as always. This is where we want to bring our full attention and focus to our practice, to our mat. Become fully immersed in what we're experiencing and feeling in our bodies. Let's go ahead and take a nice deep inhale through our nose. As you inhale, I want you to fill the belly up, and then you're going to fill up the chest. And then as the chest or the belly and the chest fill up, the collarbones will lift and rise. So breathing in through the nose. And then as you exhale, those collarbones are going to start to drop, the chest deflates, and then the belly deflates and completely empties out. And you can almost feel as if the navel is going back towards the spine as you breathe out the last little bit of air. Continue that breath for a few more rounds. The mantra for our class today is, I move through my life effortlessly and with great ease. As you start to relax into your practice, into your poses, I want you to think about letting go of any tension or restriction that comes up while you're in your asana. Breathe in all that fresh prana, which is another word for energy, and oxygen, both of those things your body uses to restore and recuperate itself. Any thoughts that are causing stress or agitation, just ask them to wait outside the room that you're working in, or whatever space. If you want to create a little circle of protection around yourself, and anything that's not serving you at this moment is forced to be outside of that circle. Anything that you need that serves you is in this circle. We're going to open our eyes, and we're going to come into the first asana. So again, you don't have to have any beliefs in anything. Some of the techniques I bring up in our practice is just tools, mental tools that we can use to help empower us to have more control of our thoughts and how they affect us during our yoga practice. The first pose we're going to come into is a butterfly pose, and we're going to do this for 5 minutes. You start with sitting right at the front edge of your blanket to get that pelvic tilt. You bring your bottoms of your feet together, and you want your legs to be in a shape of a diamond. We're going to inhale, elongate our spines, and then exhale, and we're going to walk ourselves forward We want the elbows to be on the outside of our shins. Here you can take a block and place it on your feet and just rest your head on that block. Butterfly pose is um, a very nice pose to maybe start your day with. If you don't have enough time to do yoga because you woke up late, or you have to get your family ready before the day starts, but you need something for yourself to just kind of tune into your body and to be aware of what you're experiencing and not just hit the ground running as soon as you get up. It's nice to take a moment to kind of do something for yourself to fill yourself up so you have something to give. You can do this 5 minutes and that will be suffice until you can do another practice maybe later throughout the day or maybe until the next day. Also, in our hips, the fascia is really concentrated and thick. And fascia is, there's a theory out there that it holds memories. And memories are just another form of energy. And when the energy is not expressed or processed, it just sticks around. It doesn't go anywhere. You have to use it, basically. So when we do our yin practice and we're affecting this tissue that kind of holds this energy, another word, memories, it can release those memories. Sometimes that can be upsetting, sometimes it can be nice, they can be good memories, but usually our good memories are processed pretty well because we enjoy them and have no aversions to them. But sometimes if you have a happy memory of someone who's no longer here, that can cause sadness. So that sadness is an energy. So again, that feeling, you want to be able to process that feeling and release it so that energy isn't stuck or staying stagnant in our bodies and later becoming an issue. Yin, we're working not only on our connective tissue, but these poses also affect our meridians, which are lines of energy that run throughout our body and are connected and associate to different organs. So when we hold these poses and we affect these meridians, we're also affecting our energy bodies as well. And those are connected again to the emotions and the feelings sometimes. So don't forget, we're going to continue to breathe in and out through our nose, that 3-part breath. For those of you who are familiar with the Ujjayi breath, go ahead and engage that breath here. Another name for the Ujjayi breath is ocean sound breath. Letting our exhale be a little bit longer helps to engage our parasympathetic nervous system. That's the rest and digest aspect of our nervous system. Back up, and we're going to come into a transitioning pose. This helps our body to assimilate the new energy that's flowing through our bodies, assimilate what we just did in the asana. Let's go ahead and come into our straddle pose. So straddle, you can keep your legs straight. You can bend your knees. You can come down with a block in front of you. Rest your arms on the block and just sit here. Whatever feels comfortable for you. I like to keep my legs straight. And I take them out as far as I can, and then I definitely feel it a lot on the outside, so I bring them in about an inch. Again, you can use this block when you fold forward, and we're just going to be here 3 minutes. So you're going to inhale, elongate through your spine. Exhale, fold forward. And bring the head to the block. Feel a nice deep stretch in the hamstrings. Just about there. Continue to breathe in and out through the nose. Using that breath to anchor into your asana. Remembering the 3 principles of a yin practice. We're going to come to our asana, to our appropriate edge. So just where we start to feel sensation. As we're in our asana, we're going to find that stillness in our mind, body, and spirit. And then we want to, the 3rd principle is to hold the asana for the amount of time that we choose. Most of our asanas today are only going to be about 3 minutes long. Another thing I like to think about with the hips, when we have a lot of restriction in the hips, I feel like it is that feeling of being stuck in the past. We're going to inhale and lift ourselves back up, and we're going to come into that windshield wiper transitioning pose. So when we work to release that restriction in the hips, we're opening ourselves up to the future, to the possibility of what our life has in store for us, without judgment, without criticism. Sometimes the reason why we get stuck is because of those emotions. We feel that we may have made a mistake, and we're not good enough, we're never going to be good enough, and those ideas don't serve us truly. The next asana we're going to be in is caterpillar. So here we're just going to, again, come to the edge of our mat. We're going to bring our legs straight. The feet are about hip width distance apart. You can use your block here as well. I'm going to be here 3 minutes. You can bring the block onto your thighs or your knees. Again, before we do that, I like to inhale and elongate through our spine. And then exhale, fold forward. Bring those hands to the shins, the ankles, or the tops of the toes, wherever is comfortable for you. Start where you just start to feel sensation, and then as you breathe through and into the asana, then you'll find your body will open and loosen a bit more, and you can go deeper without it feeling like you're forcing it or you're trying to make yourself go there. Because remember, when we go to our full max in a yin practice and we're holding it for a few minutes, we are really overworking some tissue that does not like to be too loose. It doesn't matter, it doesn't mind being, stretched and conditioned and put stress on. All that helps it to be stronger and more flexible. But if you are pushing yourself to the full extension and then you're holding that for a long time, it's almost as if you're overworking those tissues, and you can really feel it the next day. So truly be mindful. Only go to where you start to feel sensation. And once your body opens and you feel no restriction or tension in the asana as you breathe in and out, then you know you're not too far into your asana, into your pose. I feel yin practice really helps cultivate patience and trust and acceptance of where you really are, and then just learning that where you are in this moment is always changing by the next moment. So if you don't feel satisfied with where you are right now, continue your practice, and before you know it, one day, in a new moment, you will be where you want to be. And you just have to have faith that you're going to get there without having to see the results this moment, this instant. I'm going to move that block to the side. We're going to inhale and come up. We're going to lean back onto those hands, and we're just going to come into that windshield wiper again. The next pose is going to be our shoelace pose. Now here, we're going to stack our knees. If you can't stack your knees, you can keep the left leg straight. Bring that right leg over. Trying to line up the right knee with that left knee. This is going to be your shoelace. If this is all your body's going to let you do. To do the full expression, we're going to bring that right knee in front of the left. Line them up. And then we're going to sit back onto our blanket, again coming to that very front ledge. We want our hips to be level and sinking into or onto the blanket. The feet are coming away from each other. And again, we're just going to be here 3 minutes. So we're going to inhale and lift through the spine. Exhale and fold forward. Remembering to find our appropriate edge, and then use that breath to anchor into our asana for our amount of time, which is going to be 3 minutes. Breathing into the belly, first breathe in through the nose, filling the belly up, chest, lifting the collarbones. And then exhale everything out, dropping those collarbones, emptying the chest, then emptying the belly. Let that exhale be a little bit longer. This practice is also going to be great for people who drive a lot or are sitting at their desk. When we're sitting and we're stuck in one position for too long, again, our body kind of shifts and shapes to that position and can get stuck there. Working through these asanas to help open up the joint, to make that tissue more mobile, to elongate it, make it more pliable. As we do our practice, we also help our body stay hydrated, so it keeps that tissue healthy. Or just about there. Inhale and lift ourselves back up. We're going to come into our little windshield wiper here. Again, helping everything to acclimate. We're going to assimilate. Help that blood flow through that tissue, bringing the oxygen and nutrients to those cells and parts of our bodies that need them. And we're going to come into what is known as a dragon cycle. In this dragon cycle in particular, we're going to do a low dragon and then a winged dragon. So to come into our low dragon, I need my blocks because my arms do not reach to the floor. We're just going to be here 3 minutes. You want to start with your knee or your right leg in a 90-degree angle. You're going to bring that knee towards the toes, but you don't want to see the knee cover the toes. You still want to be able to see your toes. We're going to lift. So tuck the toes on the left foot. Lift that left knee. Bring it back and then slide it forward so you're right on top of that leg and not smushing the patella into the floor. We're going to be here for about 5 breaths. After your 5th breath, let's walk that right foot out. Bring both hands in the middle on the inside of that right foot. Roll onto the outside of that right foot. You want your foot to be in about a 45-degree angle. That knee is going to come out to the side. And here, you're going to come down onto your forearms. Now, if you can make it all the way to the floor, go ahead and do that, but if not, just bring your elbows to your blocks. Flatten that left leg out. You got a nice external rotation on the right hip, and you're going to have a nice deep extension on the front of the left. Remembering to engage in our breath. going to come back to the middle, bring that right leg back, press through our hands. You want your hands out in front of your shoulders a few inches, tuck those toes. Let's press back into our first downward dog. You can paddle through your dog, walking the dog out a bit. Go ahead and press both heels to the floor, lift those hips up towards the ceiling, press through the length of your arms into the front of your fingers. We're not pressing so much into our wrist. We're going to come back down and we're going to set up for shoelace on the other side. So if you had the one leg straight on that one side, you may have to do the same thing, but you may also find that both of your sides are different. And this side, you may actually be able to stack your legs, even though you couldn't on the other side. So you want those knees stacked, feet across from one another, somewhat flexed. Inhale, elongate through the spine. Exhale, fold forward. And then we're just going to be here for about 3 minutes. You want both of the hips leveled on that mat. You can use that blanket. And if you are using a blanket, you just want to be on the front edge. So you want to feel the front of the blanket line up where you have that gluteal fold. It's where the hamstrings meet the glutes. Again, remembering our mantra, I live my life effortlessly and with great ease. Just about there. If you feel like you can come down a little bit further, go ahead and do so. And yin, the micromillimeter movements are very significant. We're going to inhale, come back up, uncross those legs, bring them out in front of you. Bend those knees, and we're going to come back into that windshield wiper here. And now we're going to come into our second dragon cycle. We're going to bring this right knee to our blanket. The left knee is in that 90-degree angle. Bring it out far enough that when you lunge forward, so we're basically in a low lunge, but this is also in yin, it's called baby dragon. You're going to lift that left knee back and then slide it forward. We're just going to take 5 breaths here. Let's go ahead and bring those blocks on the inside. Walk that foot out to the left. Roll onto the outside of that left foot. And we're going to come down to our forearms. You can flatten that right foot and lengthen through the whole length of that right leg. Feel that full extension on the front of your hip. And then you want to feel that external rotation in the left hip. That knee is dropping out to the side, and you're rolling onto the outside of that left foot. Your foot is in a 45-degree angle, so it's not pointing directly out to the side. It's kind of pointing up towards the corner of the room. And bring that left foot back towards the right. Have those hands out in front of you. We're going to press into our feet, lifting those hips up towards the ceiling. Pushing our weight into the front of our fingers. Elongating through the arms, lifting the hips. Coming into our downward facing dog. Here you can paddle the dog out or walk the dog out, paddling your feet one at a time, bending the knee. Let's go ahead and press both heels into the mat. And then we're going to come back down. Let's grab our blocks. We're going to come into a half saddle. So I like to create a prop because I cannot come all the way down in my saddle poses. We're going to let that left leg be straight. Bring your hips towards the end of the blanket in your prop. Take that right leg leaning over to the left. You're going to take your thumb and press that calf muscle out to the side. You want to, we're just going to be here 2 minutes. So you're just going to lean back onto your back and have that left leg straight with the foot flexed. Toes and knee is pointing towards the ceiling. Again, closing your eyes to help tune out any distractions and also just to help you really Be engaged and fully present in what you're experiencing in your asana. Inhale and tuck that chin to your chest. Using your hands, you're going to push yourself back up. Lean over to the left. Unwrap that right foot. Bring it out in front. Here you can just give yourself a little leg massage. And then we're going to set up on the other side. So keep that right leg straight. Lean over to the left. Take that thumb behind the left calf. Roll it out to the side. And then we're going to come down onto our backs. You're going to really notice here which side is your tight side and which side isn't. Keep that right leg straight with the knee and the foot pointing towards the ceiling. We're just about there. Continue to use your breath as an anchor and stay in that asana as long as there's no pain. If you're feeling any pain at any time, definitely come out of your pose, and then you can just set yourself back up to your comfort level and then finish the remainder of the time in that pose. Sometimes a minute seems like an hour. We're going to inhale and tuck the chin, pushing ourselves back up. Lean over to the right, unwrap that left foot. Here, if you want to point and flex your toes or do some ankle circles, feel free to do that. And we're going to come into our last asana. But it's going to be on both sides, so we really have two more poses to do. We're going to come into a twisted root. So you're going to lay back onto your back. Your arms are out into a T. Take your left leg over the right. You're going to push through that right foot, shifting the hips to the left. Bring that right foot over towards the left. And then exhale as you drop those knees to the right. We're going to be here 2 minutes. Inhale, lift your head, look over the left hands. Charlene's coming over for her little belly and chest rubs. Remembering your mantra for your practice. I live my life effortlessly and with great ease. We're just about there. Let's go ahead. Inhale, bringing our heads back to center. Engage your core and lift those knees back up into the middle. Unwind your legs, bring those knees together, feet wide. Let's take a few breaths here. You can bring your hands onto your belly. Let's go ahead and set up for the other side. So we're going to take our right knee, our leg, and over the left. We're going to press through that left foot, shifting the hips towards the right. Walk that left foot over towards the right. Inhale, and then drop your knees toward the left. Bring those arms out into that T. Engaging that breath, breathing in through the nose, filling up the belly, the chest, and the collarbones. Continuing breathing in and out through the nose. Let your exhale be a little bit longer. We're just about finished with our practice. This is the last asana for this practice, so let's really get the most out of it that we can. Just about there. Let's go ahead and bring our head to center, engage our core. Bring those knees back to the middle. Bring the knees together, walk those feet wide. Let's take a few breaths here. And if you're completely happy here and you want this to be your Shavasana, go ahead and stay here. Just bring those shoulder blades down the back and toward one another. If you want to come into the full expression of your Shavasana, stretch your legs straight, pressing through the heel, then relax that leg, let the feet drop out to the side. Then we'll do the other leg. Again, bring those shoulder blades toward one another and down the back. We're just going to take a few breaths here. Do not skip your Shavasana. This is basically like the dessert after a delicious meal. This is where everything you just did has time to cook and assimilate and process. It's almost as if this is what you were working for. Finding that place of complete stillness and comfort. Let's repeat our mantra one more time. I move through my life effortlessly and with great ease. Resist the urge to criticize. When we judge or criticize another person, it says nothing about that person. It merely says something about our own need to be critical. If you attend a gathering and listen to all the criticism that is typically levied against others, and then go home and consider how much good all that criticism actually does to make our world a better place, you'll probably come up with the same answer I do: 0. It does no good. But that's not all. Being critical not only solves nothing, it contributes to the anger and distrust in our world. After all, none of us likes to be criticized. Our reaction to criticism is usually to become defensive and or withdrawn. A person who feels attacked is likely to do one of two things. He will either retreat in fear or shame, or he will attack and lash out in anger. How many times have you criticized someone and have them respond by saying, "Thank you so much for pointing out my flaws. I really appreciate it." Criticism, like swearing, is actually nothing more than a bad habit. It's something we get used to doing. We're familiar with how it feels. It keeps us busy and gives us something to talk about. If, however, you take a moment to observe how you actually feel immediately after you criticize someone, you will notice that you will feel a little deflated and ashamed, almost like you're the one who has been attacked. The reason this is true is that when we criticize, it's a statement to the world and to ourselves. I have a need to be critical. This isn't something we are usually proud to admit. The solution is to catch yourself in the act of being critical. Notice how often you do it and how bad it makes you feel. What I'd like to do is to turn it into a game. I still catch myself being critical, but as my need to criticize arises, I try to remember to say to myself, "There I go again." Hopefully, more often than not, I can turn my criticism into tolerance and respect. This comes from the book Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, and it's all small stuff, by Richard Carlson, PhD. Let's go ahead, take a nice deep inhale, and then exhale and start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. On your next inhale, bring your feet together and your arms together and lift them up overhead. Go ahead and as you're inhaling, stretch through the whole entire length of your body. And then exhale and roll over to whichever side feels the most comfortable for you today. We're just going to take a few breaths here. At your own pace, and when you're ready, let's go ahead and push ourselves back up to an easy cross-legged seated position. Let's bring our hands in front of our hearts. Peace and namaste. Thank you everyone for joining me today. I hope you like and subscribe to my channel if you liked this session. Also, I will be putting new videos out every Thursday. And if you want to share this with anyone that you think it will benefit, I would greatly appreciate it. And enjoy the rest of your day.